Welcome along to your weekly GAA show, Laura Mulcahy here on WLR. Thomas McCarthy on air till 7 o'clock. Well, Sunday is ladies' football final day in Waterford. Ballymacarbry and Stradbally will do battle in a novel senior showdown. Michael Ryan, Nuala Hogan and Laura Mulcahy will look ahead to the big day. It's an 8-horse race in the County Senior Football Championship. Tony Ryan from the Dungarvan Observer will tip his 4 quarter-final winners. And later in the hour, we'll hear from Galtier Camogie captain Margot Heffernan after the Blue and Navy sealed a dramatic 3 in a row last Saturday. So Sunday is Ladies' Day in Waterford. Ballymacarbry will bid for 39 county titles in a row when they face up to Stradbally at 12 noon in Fairfield. Well, one man who has seen it all before is Ballymac manager Michael Ryan, and he joins me on the line now. And Michael, you first took charge of Ballymac in 1975, all of 45 years ago at this stage. Why did you decide to put the Bannister bib on again in 2020?
I'm questioning my sanity, I suppose. But look, I was selected for the last 2 years with Michael O'Sullivan, and he stepped down, and I suppose the vacancy arose, and one or two players said it to me, and I had to chat about it, and started putting together a management team, and then suddenly I was there and stuck in it again. So I suppose it's addictive, really. It's in your blood, and it's something that, if you enjoyed in the past, you like to be involved in it. But above all, they're a good bunch of players, really committed bunch of girls. It's a privilege to be involved in. And
you're involved with the Colligan Junior Hurlers as well this year, Michael. Does it still give you the same buzz as when you started?
Yeah, well, it does. I mean, from Colligan's point of view, I wasn't the manager, so I was just doing a bit of coaching with him, and won the Western Championship, and unfortunately came up short against a very good Clonmore team in the final. I enjoy that, and I enjoy working with players, and I suppose it's something I've done all my life. I don't know any different. But everything is a challenge, and everything is, there's a lot of time goes into it, but that doesn't bother me. It's my hobby, really. I suppose that's the most important thing to say. It's my hobby, and if you like your hobby, then you keep going at it.
What do you enjoy most about being involved with teams, Michael, over the years?
I love cutting trust to big days and challenges, and and matches, and and when it's down to the wire, and when everything is on the line. But I suppose as well as that, I love working with players so committed. And they were very fortunate in Ballymacarbry over the years that, not just in my time, but in other managers' times as well, we had a group of really committed players, and some of these players are playing in their 21st or 2nd county final on Sunday, and they're still as hungry and as motivated as ever.
Have you ever seen a better county final than last year's, Michael, when Ballymac really had to dig deep, come from 6 points down to beat Cummer Rangers down in Lemmy Bryan?
Yeah, well, I think it was 2001 we played St. Anne's on Lemmy Bryan. Jarmoni was in charge, had a really good side, and we had a couple of players who went to America that summer, and we had to pull it out that day as well. But I'd say last year, was probably the closest thing to it, to being caught. And I think, with about 15 minutes to go, they were 5 points down, and they had a goal chance. And fortunately for us, went over the bar. They were 6 points ahead. But I think if that had been a goal, I think it would be very easy. It would be very difficult to turn around. And it's a very, very good Cummer Rangers side, which brings us to Sunday's final, and the fact that a very good Cummer Rangers team were beaten by something like 12 points by Stradbally, so that's a measure of the challenge that's facing us on Sunday.
Yeah, like Stradbally have really burst onto the scene this year, Michael. I know you'll be doing everything in your power to beat them on Sunday, but is it good for Waterford football to see a new team emerge?
Well, someone asked me that question before, and it is, there's no question about that, and it was nice to see a new team in the final as well. And I'm sure the neutrals out there would like to see a Stradbally Cummer Rangers final, but it is, and I mean, talking to a couple of people from Stradbally the week before that game, they were very confident they were going to win it, which surprised me, because I would have thought Cummer Rangers had the winning of that semi-final. But in fairness to Stradbally, they were very confident, first of all, they were going to win it. Then they got off to a good start and performed very well on the day. I wasn't at the game, but I was talking to different people who were there, and apparently that victory was fully deserved. So if you're asking me, is it good to see a new team in the final? Of course it is, and people will also say it would be good if somebody new came and win it, but we'll be doing our best to try and prevent that for another while. And
last year, Michael, as I mentioned, you beat Cummer Rangers in that Epic County final. You came up short then by 4 points to Mourneabbey in the Munster decider. Have you added any players to the panel this season?
I suppose some of the young players are more experienced now. People like Breed McBaugh came on last year, and she's more experienced. Young girls like the Barron twins and Emer Kirk are thereabouts as well. So there is a few young girls coming through. Thankfully, we have a very good underage structure, and thanks to the Walls and Michael O'Sullivan, and you have a lot of new people coaching on you, and people like that coaching as well, and John O'Riordan. There's a lot of people working hard on underage, and there is some players coming through, and that's only good for the team. But the old stagers are still around, and they're still determined to stake their place for the claim. So it adds up to competition for places, which is good.
And it's going to be great to have some spectators at this game, Michael. 200 will be in Fairfield on Sunday, 100 from each club. I'm sure a lot of the loyal Ballymac supporters will be delighted with that.
Yeah, I think for the players, if you ask the players about it, they like to see a bit of atmosphere. Stradbally have always brought a good following, and I suppose you've had the traditional rival between the Stradbally and the Nair as well, and so this time it's ladies football, so I'm sure there'll be a good atmosphere, there'll be a good crowd there, and people will be out, hopefully will be anxious to see a good game, and I think both teams are more than capable of providing that.
And I suppose the clubs have really been in the spotlight these last couple of months, Michael, since GA action returned. They've kind of enjoyed the good weather, the good fields. The county players have been great form in all codes. How do you feel this spell has all panned out?
Well, look, I think from a club point of view, first of all, talking about GA, and I think the same is true ladies football. The GA clubs around the country have had their county players training, and we would have 6 or 7 players training for Waterford ladies football. So they were there for every training session with the club, and that has to be good. It brings up the level of training, the standard of training. But then that's true. Stradbally have 5 or 6 county players as well, and Cumber Rangers had them, and Abbeyside had them. So I think, it's something that all the codes will have to look at going forward, maybe having separate seasons for club and county. But if you were asking me, was it beneficial, I would say in both GA and ladies football, it's certainly beneficial to have your club players training with you all the time.
Great stuff. Well, Michael Ryan, Ballymacarbry ladies football manager, thanks so much for taking our call this evening.
You're welcome.
Laura Mulcahy with Tomás McCarthy on WLR.
So Stradbally will appear in their first Waterford ladies football final in 40 years on Sunday afternoon at 12 noon against Ballymacarbry. And delighted to be joined in studio now by Red selector Nuala Hogan. And Nuala, it's a huge day for the club. The seniors are out at 12 noon in the senior final, and the juniors are out at 9:30 against St Anne's. Is this one of the biggest days in the club's history?
Oh, without a doubt, Tomás. Without a doubt. As you said, we have 2 teams now that are going to contest both the junior and the senior final on Sunday. I suppose we started out at the start of the year with a panel of 40 players. The management team met, I suppose, the players earlier on in the year, and it was decided that we'd field both a junior and a senior team this year. So I suppose if you had said to us at the start of the year that we were going to be in 2 county finals, we definitely would have taken that, So a huge day for the parish, and the support has been amazing. So we're looking forward now to Sunday.
And tell us about some of the work that's been going on behind the scenes, Nuala, because it's not just the juniors and the seniors that have enjoyed success this year. Your under-12s and your minors also got silverware last weekend, I believe.
That's it, yeah. So I suppose like in any club, Tomás, all around the country, you have to focus on your underage setup and start, out from grassroots level. And we've been working hard on this over the years. We've been building on our performances and learning, I suppose, as we go along, Last weekend, as you said, we saw both our under-12s and our minors contest the county final, and both teams coming out with a win. So we're very proud of this.
And there's a bit of colour around the area as well, Nuala. There's some red and white flags outside houses, and I've seen a few flags and cars around on Garvan as well. The whole community seems to be right behind this group of players.
Oh, they are. I suppose in Stradbally, over the last number of years, we've been supporting the men, but I suppose the ladies now are coming to the fore, and everybody's getting behind us, and everybody's delighted, that we're into 2 county finals, and we'll give it our all on Sunday, Tomás.
I suppose there was a lot of downtime this year, Nuala, with the COVID-19 pandemic. There was about 4 months there where there was no football at all. Were you as a management team in constant communication with the players during that period? We
were, Tomás. I suppose, during the lockdown, we felt it was important to build on the fitness that we had. We had started out, we had a few training sessions under our belt before the lockdown came. So I suppose we wanted to continue during the lockdown, and I suppose as a management team we asked the players to continue training on their own at home. We couldn't have been more proud of the girls and the effort that they put in. When training resumed then after the lockdown, you could really see that the girls were delighted to be back training. We focused on one game at a time, and I suppose we met Cumber then in the semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was a kind of a surprise result to many. Nuala, you beat Cumber Rangers 2-14 to 1-5 down in Ballyduff Lower. Were you confident that you could pull off an upset that day?
I suppose if you look at it over the last number of years, Tomás, Cumra and Ballymac have been contesting the senior county final, you know. We knew the strength of Cumra. We knew they had a very good side, and they have great experienced players like the Murray triplets and Ciara Dunphy and Ruth Kerwin. That's just to name but a few. But it was going to take a huge effort for us to get over the line. But thankfully we did. And as I said, we just focused on one game at a time, and we're building on each game then.
And you've had 5 players involved with the county panel earlier on this year, Nuala, like I suppose the likes of Chloe Fennell, Rebecca Casey, Roisin Dunphy were kind of regular fixtures during that league campaign. Looking at the squad in general, is it pretty young, or have you a few more experienced players mixed in as well? I suppose there's a blend of youth and experience, you know. I suppose we've a good few girls from the minor, you know, panel as well. So I suppose with any team, you're relying, I suppose, on that bit of experience to get you through. But having said that, you also need youth as well. And who else is involved with yourself, Nuala, on the Stradbally management team on Sunday?
Amy Fennell, Owen O'Brien, Paddy Casey, Paul Mullaney and Niall Cusack. Great
stuff. And you're really taking on the standard bearers in Ballymac. They're going for 39 in a row.
Oh, they are,
yeah. What's been the message from management in training over the past couple of weeks?
I suppose, you know, when you look at Ballymacarbry, you know, they've won 38 senior county titles. They're synonymous with ladies football, not only in County Waterford, but right throughout the country. I suppose the calibre and the class of players that they have is second to none. They've great experience with the likes of the Ryan sisters, Michelle, Louise and Sinead, and the Wall sisters as well, Aileen and Mairead. And I suppose then their manager, Michael Ryan, I mean, he's won every accolade there is in ladies football. He knows the game inside out, and he will have them well prepared for Sunday's game.
Yeah, but I'm sure you'll be determined to put your best foot forward come Sunday afternoon, Nuala.
We will. It'll be a huge challenge for us, Tomás, but one we're looking forward to. You know, as I said, it's our first time contesting both junior and senior county finals this Sunday, so it's going to be a new experience for our girls.
Well, Nuala, thanks very much for dropping into studio today, and all the best in the county final on Sunday.
Thanks, Tomás. Thanks to yourself and to WLR for supporting ladies football in County Waterford.
We love Waterford. We are WLR.
So to continue our build-up to Sunday's county final, delighted to be joined in the studio now by Ballymac joint captain Laura Mulcahy. And Laura, I suppose, first of all, what's it been like to get back in the millfield in Ballymac and see your teammates over the past couple of months?
Oh, it was brilliant. I suppose we did have a training programme to do ourselves over the lockdown, but I suppose after a couple of weeks the novelty wore off, so it was absolutely fantastic to be able to go back down to the millfield, to see the girls even from a social point of view, and sure, you can't beat going down, you know, if you've runs to do or anything, it's much easier to do them definitely as part of a group. So it's been fantastic to be able to get down to the pitch, especially when we didn't know would we be getting onto a pitch at all this year. So it was great to kind of see light at the end of the tunnel, that we would get to go onto the pitch after all of the hard work that we'd done ourselves at home. So it was great to be back. Yeah.
Well, what's been the strangest part of the whole experience, Laura, with the new COVID-19 restrictions in place?
I suppose everything has been a little bit strange. I suppose when we first started out, I think we were put into groups of maybe was it 10 at a time. So I'd say for the first couple of weeks, you'd seen the same 10 girls every training. And that was very strange. So you hadn't seen the other half of the panel really. They'd been down at the pitch, but we were kind of in our own groups. So I'd say that was the strangest thing. And then I suppose of late, the spectators not being able to go, it has been very weird playing and having no spectators there. I suppose the atmosphere is a little bit different, and I'm sure every club around the country feels that.
Yeah, it's great though that there will be 200 fans allowed in to watch the game on Sunday. I'm sure it'll allow some of your own family to get to see Sunday's final, Laura.
Exactly, and it'll definitely add to the atmosphere. We've a great supporters base, so it definitely helps to have that extra atmosphere there. So it's great to hear that 200 people will be allowed to go on Sunday.
Yeah, will some of your own family be in attendance?
I'm sure they will. I think they're trying to get a few swaps at work and stuff, so I'm sure they'll be there. Yeah.
Great stuff. And during the 4 months of the lockdown, Laura, there was no training, no football. How did you keep yourself going?
No, I suppose we've a great management team, so they kind of kept us busy with a training programme at home. So I suppose we did a lot of kind of running on our own and texting into the group chat to kind of get motivation from others. And then we kind of had our own kind of strength programme that we kind of did again on our own. But as I said, I suppose after the first couple of weeks the novelty started to wear off. So we kind of kept ourselves busy just with the running programme that management had designed, and then a bit of the strength work as well, yeah.
Did you pick up any new hobbies or anything like that during the lockdown?
I suppose I did jump on the bandwagon and did a bit of the hiking. And now I don't know would it be a long-term hobby, but definitely over lockdown it did help to kind of get outside, yeah. Very
good, very good. And you're telling me off air, Laura, that you're teaching in Kilkenny at the moment, so a lot of big changes there in the past few weeks.
Exactly. I suppose the students have noticed there is a lot of changes in wearing the masks and all of the sanitisation, and which it is weird, but I suppose as the weeks go by, they're kind of it's just becoming a habit. So I suppose that's life for the moment anyway.
What's it like to have Michael Ryan back on the sideline this year as manager?
Oh, it's fantastic. I suppose Michael is he's so passionate and it's infectious and it kind of travels amongst the whole team. So it's fantastic to have Michael back. We also have Mike Gyrey and John Phelan and Katrina Casey, and between them all, they have fantastic experience and all of them are just as passionate about the game. So definitely at training, we're all trying to impress, and their love for the game just spurs us on to train even harder.
How would you describe Michael Ryan's training sessions?
Tough. They're quick. Everything is done at 100 miles an hour. And they're intense, but definitely it gets everyone going. There's nobody slacking. There's no time for slacking. But overall now they're tough, but they're great.
I suppose Ballymacarbry have such a proud tradition, Laura. They have 38 in a row in the county. They've 10 All-Ireland titles, going for 39 on Sunday. How many of those have you been involved with so far?
I suppose I've been with the senior team since I was about 14 or 15. So, God, I suppose I'm involved in about seven of them so far. And there's great passion in the club. And there's a great track record there. But I suppose every year we're just focusing on the next game. It kind of goes into the back of our minds, and we just focus on the next game that's coming up.
What was last year's county final against Cummer Rangers the toughest you've experienced so far?
Personally, I would say it was. We went in at half time and we were 6 points down. And I suppose we weren't really in that position before, so we really had to dig deep. Again, we had Michael O'Sullivan and Michael Ryan and PJ, and they were fantastic. And again, we just had to dig deep, and just luckily we pulled it out of the bag in the end. But definitely, I would say it was probably the toughest to date. Yeah.
Were you a bit surprised to see Stradbally emerge from the other semi-final rather than your great rivals?
I would, and I'd say a lot of people were. I suppose we've met Cumra the past number of years. I don't think I can actually remember a county final that I was involved in that Cumra weren't in. So it was definitely a bit of a surprise. But at the same time, Stradbally, they're a young team, they're a fit team, and obviously a very capable team as well. So a bit surprised, but at the same time, Stradbally they're a great team.
And to bring it right back to the very start, Laura, how young were you when you first got involved with the Ballymacarbry ladies?
If we were going back to the underages, I suppose under sixes is where it started, in St Patrick's Hall, which is actually closed down now. And I suppose Gaelic football is what the girls have since we've been small. That's the only sport that's that stayed in the community. So I think everyone started at under sixes, under eights, and then just continued from there.
And you mentioned you were in at the age of 14 or 15 in with the senior ladies team. What was it like to walk into that dressing room and play alongside the likes of the Ryans and the Walls and the McGraths who've represented Waterford with such distinction, Laura?
Oh, it was unreal. And I just think, coming in as a young player, they've always been so supportive, and they've offered so much advice, and it has definitely stood with everyone, I think. And even I think making the step up to the senior panel, it just it progresses you so much more, and you just get so much more experience. Even if you wouldn't be on the starting panel, even just training with the girls, it brings your confidence along, your skill level along. And even with the girls at the moment, you know, the younger girls coming onto the team, like the changes that they've made since they started with the seniors is unbelievable. Like we've a good few young players coming along that are absolutely fantastic. We've Breach McMaw, we've Kellyanne, we've the twin Barnes, we've Alice, we've all the girls coming along, and that's only to name a few, and they're just fantastic.
Who's the toughest player to mark down in training in the midfield these days, Laura?
God, that's a tough question. I suppose maybe Aileen Wall, her pace, you know, trying to keep up with Aileen is unreal. So I suppose you're trying to keep up with Aileen whilst also trying to get the ball off her is definitely difficult. So I'd have to go with Aileen on that one.
Great stuff. Well, Ballymacarbry versus Stradbally throws in at 12 noon on Sunday in the Waterford Ladies Football Final. And Laura Mulcahy, Ballymac joint captain, thanks so much for calling into studio this evening.
Thanks a million.
Lorna Porca with Tomás McCarthy on WLR.